starts now! Hi guys, it's Nick from Kicking Goals, and welcome to this week's show. So, Collingwood won, Carlton lost, GWS had a bye, the Gold Coast game was boring as bad shit, and roaming Brian was annoying as usual. Just a standard weekend in AFL. So last week's tips, I received 6 out of 7, and in the total tips, I have 106 tips. And the first game of the week is between North Melbourne and the Western Bulldogs. North Melbourne had a huge 85-point loss against Hawthorn, and their only promising sign was Nick Larkey kicking 5 goals. The Bulldogs had a great win in Bontempelli's 250th game. Well done, Bond. So I'm going to tip the Western Bulldogs to win by 30 points, as they have a much better team. So now we've got Carlton versus Collingwood on the Friday night at the MCG. Carlton had a horrible game against Port Adelaide with their ball movement, and they looked lost. Collingwood beat West Coast by only 29 points. It was obvious that Collingwood were not playing at 100% due to some injuries, which is why they didn't produce 4 full quarters of football. But I'm going to tip Collingwood to win by 72 points. West Coast versus GWS. West Coast had only a 5-goal loss against Collingwood, and they were leading at half-time after having all their momentum in the first half. Before their bye, GWS had a gutsy 7-point win over the Suns when they came from 28 points down. So this should be an easy win for GWS. I'm going to tip them to win by 57 points. Essendon versus Gold Coast. Fuck me, I hate Essendon, but anyway. Before their week off, Essendon lost to Fremantle by 41 points with their season going from bad to hell. Gold Coast had a convincing win over Melbourne, and they finally got back on the winners list after losing 3 games in a row. So Gold Coast should win this very easily, and I'm going to tip them to win by 46 points. Now we've got Geelong versus Richmond. Before their bye, Geelong had a 41-point loss to Brisbane at their home ground. And on the weekend, Richmond had another big loss, this time to Adelaide by 68 points. Tom Lynch was reported and will probably be suspended for 2 or more weeks after striking an Adelaide player. So Geelong should win this very easily and bounce back, and I'm going to tip them to win by a whopping 125 points. Brisbane versus Port Adelaide. Before their week off, Brisbane had a great win against Geelong in Geelong. It's the first time in 22 years they have beaten Geelong at home. Logan Morris once again kicked a bag of 5 goals, and Dane Zorko was outstanding in the midfield, getting 33 disposals. Port Adelaide bounced back with a healthy 50-point win over Carlton on Thursday night. Mitch Georgiades was Port's go-to player up forward, who also kicked 5 goals. Zach Butters and Connor Rozee were both unbelievable in the midfield with 30 disposals apiece. Since it's at the Gather, and Brisbane normally do well there, I'm going to tip them to win by 24 points. St Kilda versus Hawthorn. St Kilda fell just short by 12 points against Fremantle. They had a chance of winning early in the last quarter, but they let the lead slip. They are now continuing their disappointing season. Hawthorn had a wonderful 85-point win over North Melbourne with Jack Gunston kicking a career-high 7 goals. He just keeps getting better with age. Mafia Joel also kicked a career-high 5 goals as well, with Carl Amon amassing 33 disposals. Hawthorn should win this very easy. I'm going to tip him to win by 59 points. Sydney versus Fremantle. Sydney had a 9-point loss to the Western Bulldogs on Friday night, which they should have won. Isaac Heaney was their best player with 5 goals. Fremantle had a gutsy 12-point win over St Kilda by coming from behind early in the last quarter. Jordan Clark was outstanding with 31 touches and a goal, with Andrew Brayshaw was good in the midfield as well. So I'm going to tip Fremantle here in a close one. I'm going to tip him to win by 3 points. Adelaide versus Melbourne. Adelaide had a comfortable 68-point win over Richmond. It could have been a lot more if Adelaide kicked straight, but nevertheless, they got the job done. Riley Filfor is continuing his career best season, kicking 5 goals. Melbourne had a 19-point loss to Gold Coast. It's worth noting that Jake Melchin kicked 5 goals and 6 behinds, which on a different day could have been 11 goals. Imagine that. Also, Petrarca was awesome in the midfield, with 32 disposals. But in this game, since Adelaide are the better side this year, I'm going to tip them to win by a comfortable 79 points. What the hell did I watch on Thursday night? It was like watching a car crash in slow motion and the remote wouldn't pause. It just kept going, minute after minute, quarter after quarter, and it hurt a lot. This game might just be one of the worst games ever played by Carlton since Port kicked our ass in 2014 by 103 points. I went to that fateful game in 2014. We were late and there were no decent seats left. The crowd was completely feral towards us and the whole night was fucking horrible. And last Thursday night, that old familiar feeling of dread returned. Carlton is toast for the year. It's sad, but it's true. So let's have a look who played well for Carlton. Hewitt. George Hewitt was a standout performer in Carlton's tough loss to Port Adelaide, leading the team with 21 disposals and earning maximum votes for the kicking goals medal. Despite the team's struggles, Hewitt's kicking, clean ball use and pressure provided much needed stability in the midfield. He consistently disrupts Port Adelaide's play, created turnover opportunities and proved his worth once again. Doherty. Sam Doherty shone for Carlton with 19 disposals and a goal. He read the play and kicked precisely under pressure, showing some much needed leadership and determination. Doherty's experience offered some hope in a disappointing match. Williams. Zach Williams put in a solid performance for Carlton in their tough loss to Port Adelaide, recording 18 disposals and contributing a goal. His attacking runs showcased his trademark pace, providing some much needed drive through the middle. Carlton are in real trouble. The player list is extensive and full of excellent players. Big guns like Charlie, Harry, Captain Cripps, Walsh, TDK, Sard Turbo, Wiedering, Hewitt, Chera, etc. should be enough firepower for any team to easily make the finals. But still, we lose. Is Voss the problem? Is our teamwork not tight enough? We are told that morale is not the problem. We are told the team is pumped and feel positive about their mindset. But we still lose. It'll be interesting to see which path Carlton chooses. So the leading disposal getters from the match was Hewitt with 21, Doherty with 19, De Koning, Haynes, Ollie Hollands and Williams with 18 each. And our goal kickers of the night were Orazio Fantasia with 2 and singles to Cripps, Doherty, Ollie Hollands, Lewis Young, Motlop and Williams. The votes for the kicking goals medal are Williams with 1, Doherty with 2 and Hewitt will get the 3 votes. Now, the total votes for the year are Hewitt with 29, second place is Cripps with 15, and third place is Chera with 12. So thank you all for watching this video. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Catch you later.